so-called caliphate is under attack.
It's been an effective summer for Iraqi forces battling ISIL fighters.
The edge of Mosul is close.
Iraq's prime minister says the battle to retake Mosul from ISIS is going more quickly than expected.
Iraqi forces are saying it's going much faster than planned.
Mosul, northern Iraq. Reporter Sheikh Abdullahad is on his way to the front line. For more than 2 years, this city of over 1 million people has been under ISIS control. Now the Iraqi army, backed by Kurdish forces and U.S. airstrikes, is trying to retake it.
Iraq's my country. I lived in Iraq. I grew up in Iraq. I knew Mosul since I was a child. My father, he used to take me with him. I walked in the old city, in the old market. I had this connection to Mosul. In 2016, Mosul was declared as this final battle, the final showdown with ISIS. I went to Mosul to see if the liberation of this city will usher the end of this endless war that's been going on in Iraq since 2003.
The operation began in October 2016, and the army quickly defeated ISIS in the villages surrounding the city. But when they entered Mosul itself, the advance was slowed by fierce fighting. ISIS used snipers hidden amongst the civilians to exact heavy casualties. And they began an unprecedented campaign of suicide attacks. It is now 5 weeks since the battle began. Shahed is with the elite Iraqi Special Operations Forces, known as the Golden Division. They're taking him to their commander in eastern Mosul. The route to the front line passes through areas that until recently were controlled by ISIS.
The narrative was the Iraqi army is moving very quickly, ISIS lines are collapsing. As we start driving in, you realize you're not driving through a liberated neighborhood per se, but you're driving through a battle zone.
Unknown to the soldiers, ISIS fighters are lying in wait. Shahed and the soldiers make it past the ISIS snipers and stop at a base the unit has set up in a local house.
Where we are is 380 meters from one front line, 400 meters from another front line. The fire is really close. As we drove, even the so-called liberated neighborhoods, which we are now, is under constant fire, a bullet pushed over our heads. The distance between war and civilian life is almost non-existent. It kind of street by street.
The unit's leader, Lieutenant Colonel Muntadar, is using drones to direct his men to ISIS positions. He commands around 125 soldiers and has survived several ISIS attacks. Muntadar has a reputation for toughness, To his men, he is known simply as Fular, which means steel.
This is Gakcheli. The radio station is here. We want to clear all this area back to Gakcheli. We will close this area off. I want to secure the residential area. These are tall apartment buildings, so it's very hard to fight here.
The Iraqi army has a bad reputation in Mosul. The population here is mainly Sunni Muslim, the army mainly Shia. Before the ISIS takeover, the army was accused of sectarian abuses and illegal detentions.
The civilians, I'm sure they look at the soldiers and they worry who will be detained next. It's like two people of one nation finally meeting. A week ago, 3 days ago, those people would have not imagined sitting there having a conversation with a Shia Iraqi soldier from the south.
Montarar says he understands the residents' fears, but he is trying to convince them that he is on their side.
People are starting to trust us, and they are telling us where the ISIS infiltrators are hiding. The people who've been liberated, they say the army is not sectarian. This is not a sectarian army or a Shia army or anything of the sort. It's an Iraqi army coming to liberate.
But the fight has become bogged down in Mosul's densely populated neighborhoods.
Before one of our soldiers pulls the trigger, he needs to be aware of exactly who is in front of him. I mean, an army can fight against a regular army in the usual way. Tank against tank, soldier against soldier. But what is happening here is a dirty battle against dirty people. It's difficult liberating these areas from this filth.
It's dangerous to stay so close to the front line at night, so Khaith and some of the soldiers pull back. The soldiers seem nervous. ISIS fighters are in the area. They arrive in the neighborhood where they will spend the night and meet up with some of their fellow soldiers. The soldiers are on the lookout for ISIS collaborators among the civilians. They have orders from the lieutenant colonel to treat captives humanely. But away from the fighting, one of the soldiers watches videos of ISIS suspects being tortured.
انا ابو الاحمر هذا مش من اليوم. والله خير.